Hey everybody, welcome to today's class. I am Coach Ray. And so for today, what we're gonna need a pad for us to kneel on because we are gonna start our warm up actually in a half kneeling position. I'm also gonna use a cage here as if it's a wall or the bottom of a door frame here. And so I have my two 6-foot sticks and my 5-foot stick. So today we're gonna get into some fun stuff. We're gonna get into some core drills, simple standing core drill. We're also gonna get into some 90-90s during the strength training phase. But we're gonna finish off kind of opening up a bunch of different lines, and we're gonna actually add in some rotations along with different things too. So we're gonna get started today. We're gonna grab the short stick, okay? And we're gonna start with some kayaking, okay? So I'm gonna go with both knees down, okay? Now, I'm not gonna have my feet flat, okay, for the purpose of this. I actually wanna have my big toes into the floor here. I wanna generate some power off that back foot. And so from here, I want to stay up tall, okay? So I'm going to kind of squeeze my glutes a bit here, just to stay up tall. I'm going to grab the sticks at the stick I have at the end with my fingertips here. Okay, I'm going to start my right hand up, and we're just going to simply go through kayaking. I'm going to push my right hand through. Left shoulder comes up and over. Now I'm going to go with the left hand. So right now, we're not going to have any kind of spinal movement. We want to stay up tall, no flexing, no rotating here, okay? We're just trying to get the shoulder simply warmed up, but we are going to add in some lateral flexion and movement as we start to get later into the kayaking here. And keep your speed the same as mine, okay? You shouldn't be going faster. Trying to work through slowly. Really try to feel that shoulder blade moving and gliding along the rib cage. Now what we're going to do here, still kayaking, we're going to start to laterally bend, okay? So as I'm bringing my right hand through, I'm going to bend to my left, and then bring that left hand up and over. As I'm coming through with the left hand, I'm gonna bend to my right. Here. Good. Try to keep the hips in the same position. Try to keep that movement from the spine as much as you possibly can. So now we're adding in a little bit of flow with the kayaking, okay? So we can get the shoulder blades, the shoulder and the spine all warmed up at the same time here. A few more seconds. And relax. Okay, so now we're going to switch into some overhead, some dislocates. Okay, now with this drill, typically it's going to depend on how mobile your shoulders are, and obviously we want to try to make sure we stay out of pain here. Okay, so if at any point it becomes painful, reduce the intensity or just reduce the range of motion. And so the positioning for the kneeling is still going to be the same. I'm going to toes of my back, both feet here. Okay, I'm not flattening out the top of my foot. I tend to go with a grip that's basically right about where the grips are. Okay, I think it's a good place to start. So when my arms are straight, the stick is basically at my hips. Okay, what I'm going to do from here, again, we're still going to keep those glutes tight. Okay, so keeping the hips forward, staying up tall. And then we're going to pull the stick apart about 20 to 25%. We're going to slowly bring that stick up overhead. Breathe. Hold. Back down. Once the stick gets to your eyesight, you're going to try to compress that stick. So try to shorten that stick here. Okay? Good. Now we're going to pull apart. Remember, keep your speed the same as mine. And if there's any pain, reduce that range of motion. Back down. compress. Feel those anterior tissues turning on. Okay, pull apart. Stand up tall. Hold. Back down. Shorten that stick, compress. Good, and relax. Okay, so now we're gonna add in something a little bit different here. What we're gonna add is pulling to one side, right? To actually get some of the shoulders a little bit more warmed up here, okay? Still in that same position, glutes are still tight, okay? I'm actually gonna widen my grip just a smidge here, like maybe about 1.5 inches. And so what I'm gonna do from here, same thing, I'm gonna pull the stick apart, bring it up overhead, slow and under control. Once I get to that max range, I'm gonna pull more with my right hand, keeping both arms straight. Now I'm gonna pull with my left hand. I'm still pulling with the opposite hand, it's just that I'm pulling more with the hand that's actively pulling to the other side. So I'm pulling more with my left hand here to my right. It's gonna come back up and back down. Compress that stick and relax. We're gonna do 2 more here, okay? Same thing. Pull stick apart, 20 to 25% tension. Bring it up. Keep those elbows straight as much as you possibly can. Now you're gonna pull with the right hand. Now you're gonna pull with the left. Right arm comes up. Back to center. Down and compress. Good. We're gonna go one last time here. Okay. Stand up tall, pull the stick apart, bring it up overhead. Remember to keep breathing, don't hold your breath here. Now we're gonna pull with the right hand. Pull with the left. Back to neutral, down, and compress the stick. And relax, good. So now we're gonna go to a standing position. So we don't need a pad anymore, at least not for now. We kick that off to the side. And so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get into a pretty wide stance. And so, take a stance that's most comfortable for you. If you notice, my feet are actually kind of slightly angled outwards. This allows me to get to a much more comfortable position. And so what we're gonna do from here is we're gonna do a side lunge, but we're also gonna add in some rotation. So we're gonna get a pretty big stretch on the adductor, but we also kind of work on rotating that spine a bit. We're still keeping a short stick here. So I'm gonna place the stick on the inside of my left foot here, okay? I'm gonna place my hand on top of the stick, okay? And so what I'm gonna do from here, I'm going to simply hinge back, get a little bit of a hang. My hand is still on the top of the stick. I'm gonna get a little bit of a chest stretch here, but now I'm going to lunge to my right, pushing my hips back, and then I'm gonna reach across with my right hand, try to grab that stick, hold for a second. Now I'm gonna come back, lunge back to center, and then come up, okay? We're gonna do that same thing again. I'm gonna hinge. Good, drive those hips back, okay? Lunge to the right. Keep that stick in line with your body and shoulder. Shouldn't be up here, should be back here. I'm gonna reach across with my right hand, grab the stick, and relax. Come back up to neutral, and good. We're gonna do a couple more here, but what we're gonna do now is when we go and grab a stick with the right hand, we're gonna drive that right hand into the ground. So we're gonna really try to enforce getting some tension into that rotation here. So, same position, we're gonna hinge back, Hand comes out to the side. Lunge to the right. Grab that stick with the right hand. Now I want you to really drive that stick into the ground with the right hand here. So you probably noticed that I got a little more rotation. You should be getting a little bit more rotation too. We're just adding some strength on that component. Ease off tension. Come back up to neutral. Come out of it. One more time, okay? We're gonna hinge. Good. Lunge to the right. Grab the stick with the right hand. Drive that right hand to the ground, or drive stick into the floor. Ease off tension. Back to neutral. And up. Now we're going to switch sides. So what we're doing here is we're kind of working a lot on the adductor. You should be getting a pretty big stretch on the adductor, but you should be getting a lot of rotation here. Okay, but again, if you're experiencing pain, reduce the range of motion by either pulling your, wiggling your feet in a little bit more, or just not rotating as much. You don't have to grab the stick. But another thing is you can also move the stick in a little bit closer too. So we're gonna go from here, same position, hinge. Now you're also gonna notice that one side, when it comes to rotation, is gonna be tighter than the other. That's normal, okay? So just work with what ranges you have available. Gonna lunge to the left. Make sure you're keeping your entire foot on the ground, right? Reach across with the left hand. Ease off. Back to center. And come up. So as you do this, what some people tend to do is they start to go on their ball of their foot. Try to keep entire pressure throughout your foot, your entire foot the entire time. So we're gonna hinge. Lunge. Drive those hips back. Reach across with the left hand. Really feel that stretch in the right adductor here. Let go of that hand. Come back to neutral. And relax. We're gonna do two more. Now we're gonna drive the stick into the ground with the left hand here, okay? We're gonna hinge. Lunge to the left. Reach across. Grab stick with the left hand and drive the stick into the ground. Should we get a little bit more rotation here? Ease off. Come back to neutral. And then, again, one last time. Okay. I'm gonna hinge. Lunge to the left. Grab stick with that left hand. Drive it to the floor. Ease off. Come back to neutral. And then stand up. And so now we're gonna wiggle our feet in, of course. Come out of it safely. And that concludes the warm-up for today. And so now we're gonna get into some core drills. We're also gonna get into a little bit of 90-90 drills using a wall, okay? But we're first gonna warm up the obliques, okay? So this drill is actually pretty simple, but the movements are very subtle. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have my feet about roughly an inch apart, toes pointed forward. I'm gonna have the stick in line with my midfoot here. So notice I'm also keeping the short stick, okay? You can go with the taller stick if need be, but for sake of simplicity, I'm gonna go with the short stick. And so my hand is at about shoulder height, maybe slightly above, okay? Now what I'm gonna do from here, standing in a tall position, I wanna keep my elbow in close to my side, okay? The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drive the stick into the floor, and I'm gonna feel my rib cage drop towards my right hip. We're trying to drive with 60% tension. You should feel like your obliques are turning on here. We're gonna hold, and make sure to keep this shoulder down, keep everything connected on this right side. and ease off. Good. Now we're gonna ramp up that intensity. We're gonna go to 70% this time. So, same thing, sticks in the same position, elbow in close to the side, shoulder down. Now drive, just stick it to the floor, 70%. Again, you should be feeling the obliques turn on here, okay? 3, 2, 1, and ease off. You're also probably gonna feel some lat engagement. That's normal, okay? We're trying to get that entire lateral side to kind of turn on here. So this is gonna be a really good drill we're gonna use before we go into the 90-90s. And so we're gonna do 2 more rounds here. We're gonna go at 80% this time, okay? Elbow in, shoulder down, stand tall, and drive that stick into the ground. Feel the rib cage connect to the pelvis here. On that right side, almost like you're slightly laterally flexing. Hold, and 3, 2, 1, and ease off. We're gonna go 1 more time. This time we're gonna be at 90%, so it's gonna be pretty submaximal here. We're only gonna hold this for 5 seconds, okay? So from here, stand tall, elbow in, shoulder down, drive a stick to the ground, 90%. Hold, 3, 2, 1, ease off. Good, now we're gonna switch sides. Okay, so positioning is still gonna be the same, hand is still at the same position, slightly above shoulder height or at shoulder height. So, stand up tall, okay, shoulder down, elbow in close, and drive, sticking to the ground 60%. And again, you should feel like you're lightly laterally flexing to that side. And 3, 2, 1, ease off. Good, we're gonna go 3 more here. Now we're gonna go at 70%. Okay, in the same position, elbow in, shoulder down, drive the stick into the ground. And again, if you feel like the rib cage is kind of dropping down towards the pelvis here. So we're trying to connect this entire side here. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Good. We're gonna go 2 more here. Now we're gonna go at 80%. Okay. Make sure you're gripping the stick really, really hard, okay? Make sure you keep that grip on it really tight. Shoulders down, elbow in, drive the stick into the ground. Feel that lateral flexion come in a little bit. Hold. And 3, 2, 1, and relax, ease off. Good. 1 more time, 90%, just 5 seconds, okay? And again, if this causes any pain, especially on the back, reduce the intensity, or you can kind of we can rotate a little bit if need be. But it should be a relatively safe drill here, okay? So from here, shoulder down, elbow in, drive, stick it to the ground, feel that lateral flexion, 90%. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Good. So it's a good way to kind of warm up the obliques there. Really simple drill. It's just that you're adding that tension in with that lateral flexion. So now I'm going to use 1 6-foot stick here, okay, for the 90-90. And so what I'll do is I'm going to use this part of the cage, so this is going to act as if it's a wall, so if a wall would be perfect. So I'm going to have my right hip forward first, okay? And I'm actually going to kind of sit in this position, this upright position for a second here, and I'm going to tension. So I'm going to drive both knees into the ground, and I'm going to use the right hand to kind of prop myself up. And so from here, right hand is down, and I want to make sure both knees and hips are 90 degrees here, and I'm going to drive. I'm going to push this knee into the floor, push this knee into the floor, 60%, You want to create that tension as much as you can. Try to stay as upright as possible. And ease off that tension. Another thing is, if you have pain here or pinching, or it's too much tension, especially on the front leg, you can use like a yoga block or maybe a pillow to place under your knee to bring your knee up a little bit more in a more comfortable position, okay? So we're gonna go one more time, okay? So we're gonna drive both knees into the ground, 70%. Remember, stay up tall. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and good. So as a reminder, if you're cramping, get out of the position here, okay? Just get out and work out of it slowly. Cramping's gonna be pretty normal for most people, but just wanna make sure you keep staying on the safe side here. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna place the stick at about chest height, okay? So what I'm gonna do, have my arms straight out, okay? And from this position, I'm gonna drive both knees into the floor, then I'm gonna drive the stick into the wall, and I'm going to push forward with my right shoulder, and I'm gonna reflexively pull my left hand. Should be at about 60% tension here. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and relax. We're gonna go 2 more here, okay? So it's really important to make sure that you're trying to keep yourself facing forward. So always try to keep your chest facing that 12 o'clock position here. So hands are about a little wider than shoulder width. Drop both knees to the ground, 70%. Drop the stick into the wall and push. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Good. Now we're gonna switch sides. So we're actually gonna come back to that right side here, but we're gonna switch sides here. So, it's gonna flip around, and now I'm gonna have my left leg forward. And I'll actually face this way, just to start with. So we're gonna do the same thing as we did on the right side on this left side here, okay? So positioning of my hips, this knee's at 90, this knee's at 90. Also too, one thing to do, if one side's harder than the other, to make it easier, you can do a shin box, which would be moving in like this. It makes it a little bit easier, takes some of the stress off the hips. But if you can get to 90-90, try to get to 90-90. So from here, using my left hand to prop myself up, okay, standing up tall, driving both knees to the ground, 60%. And ease off. Good. We're gonna go one more time. Okay. Drop both knees to the ground. Make sure you prop yourself up tall with that left hand. And 3, 2, 1, and ease off. And so now, we're gonna turn this way. And so, the same thing we did on the right side, we're gonna do the same on the left side. So, I'm gonna take the stick, still in that 90-90 position, and I'm gonna place it into the wall. Again, this has to be at chest height. So what I'm gonna do from here, okay? Same thing, same series of activation. I'm gonna drive both knees into the ground, and I'm gonna drive the stick into the wall. Then I'm gonna push out with that left hand here, 60%. Hold. Ease off. Good. We're gonna do that same thing one last time, okay? So drive the stick into the wall. Extend to the left hand out. So we'll try to create a bow on the stick here. Whoop. Pushing too much. 3, 2, 1, and good. So now we're gonna switch back to this right side here, okay? And so, what we're gonna do on this right side is we're gonna take the stick, I'm gonna have it at the bottom corner of a wall, okay? And then we're gonna do from here, still in that same position here. I still wanna be at about, have my hands at about shoulder width, but the addition to this one here is I'm actually gonna be driving the stick into the wall. So left hand or outside hand is gonna be facing upwards towards the ceiling. The right hand is gonna be at shoulder height. I wanna keep my right shoulder down. And what I'm gonna do, drive both of these to the floor and drive that stick into the corner of a wall. 70%. Really drop those knees into the ground. And ease off. Good. We're gonna do that one more time, but we're gonna do it with that inside hand, we're gonna pull, okay? We're gonna pull towards us. Here, drop both knees to the ground, try to stick into the wall, create a bow, pulling with that right hand or inside hand. And 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Now we're gonna switch back to the left side. So I'm just kind of having you switch back and forth so it's not too intense on one side. Okay, positioning is the same, okay? So right hand is up, facing the ceiling, or outside hand, okay? The other hand's over the middle of the stick or in the shoulder width. So from here, drive both knees to the ground, drive the stick into the wall, hold. You should be pushing with both hands here. And 3, 2, 1, and ease off. So now we're gonna add in that pulling with the inside hand with this left side here, okay? Here, same position, drop both knees to the floor, drop the stick into the wall. Now pull with that inside hand. The outside hand is gonna reflexively push away. Hold. And 3, 2, 1, relax, ease off, and good. And so now, since we're in this ground position, we're gonna do a core drill here. We're gonna do one core drill. So, what I'm gonna do is, wanna make sure I'm flat here, okay? And so, what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna do a hollow hold on one side. I'm actually gonna do a hollow hold in general, but as I'm doing it, I'm gonna be driving tension with the stick to keep this rib cage here locked in place. So I wanna make sure we're gluing the ribs to the hips here. So that position of being here, hollow, is what's gonna challenge the core. So from here, the bottom of the stick is on the top of my right foot, okay? So you can go with having your hand directly over the shoulders or in line with the shoulder height. Or if you want more of a challenge, you can bring the hand up above your head, okay? So what we're gonna do from here, straighten out both legs. First thing, I'm gonna drive the stick into my foot. I'm gonna lift this left foot up. And then what we're gonna do from here with this left hand straight up, I'm gonna bring my left foot off the ground, bring this left hand up overhead, I'm gonna hold. 3, 2, 1, bring my left foot down, left hand up, and then bring the right foot down, okay? So we're gonna go through a series of movement here, which is gonna take a while, but again, we're trying to challenge that core as much as we can here, so make sure we got the systems correct. So, from here, drive stick into the foot, Bring that right foot up. I'm going to bring the left foot up, left hand back. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Good. Left foot down, left hand up, and then right foot down. We're going to go one more time. Okay. Same thing. Drive and stick it to the right foot. Bring the right foot up. Left foot up. Then bring that left hand up overhead. 3, 2, 1, and left foot down. Left hand up. Right foot down. Excellent. Good, good. So now we're going to switch sides here. So something I really want you to pay attention to is your back staying flat to the floor. So if your back is not staying flat to the floor, you're missing that alignment of the rib cage and the pelvis. And so you start shifting that tension to the lower back. So if that's the case, just holding this position here may be more than enough of a challenge. So we're gonna do the same thing that we did on the other side. So from here, I'm gonna drive the stick into my foot, left foot here. I'm gonna bring my left foot up. Then right foot up, extend this right hand. 3, 2, 1, right foot down, right hand up, left foot down, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing again 2 more times. So the amount of tension you're gonna need to generate for this may be dependent on how strong you are, but I'd say about 70% is a really good amount of tension for this particular drill, because you're gonna need a lot of tension to keep everything aligned. So from here, drive the stick into the foot, left foot up. Gonna bring that right foot up, right hand up overhead, hold. 3, 2, 1, right foot down, right hand up, left foot down. So you're gonna notice there's gonna be a significant challenge on that side where the stick is on, okay? Try to get everything aligned there, but we're also still challenging this opposite side, this other side here. Okay, one last time. Drive the stick into the foot, left foot up, right foot up, right hand overhead, hold. 3, 2, 1, right foot down, right hand up, left foot down. Good. That is going to conclude the strength training portion. So now we're going to move on to deep fascial stretching. And so what we're going to do here, we're going to open up a lot of those front lines. So I'm going to take the pad here, because we are going to need a pad or a pillow or something for us to kneel on. And we're going to use the long stick for this one. Okay? And so what I want to do here, I'm going to go to a full kneeling position. Okay? Now, I'm going to have the stick on the right side of my body. Okay? Or more so in line with the middle of my body. And my feet are plantar flex, so my ankles are extended. Okay? And so I can generate tension. We're going to have the stick start to take on the right shoulder here. Okay? Now, the main positioning for this is you want to stay upright, you want to stay up tall, but you want to try to keep those hips extended, so you're going to have to keep your glutes tight as we go through this. And so what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to have this, keep the stick on my right shoulder. I'm going to walk my hands down slowly, leaning back, still squeezing the glutes. So from here, I'm going to place both hands on my shoulder. I'm going to start to lean back slowly, walking my hands down. Again, keep those glutes tight, hips extended. Go till you get a good stretch. And then walk yourself back up. Good. Okay? We're going to do 2 more here. So from here, hips extended, glutes tight. Okay? Walk your hands down. If you can, try to see if you can get a little bit further down. you can let your hands extend. Hold. You're going to feel a stretch in the hip flexors, the quads, entire front line here. You're going to walk your hands up. Good. We're going to do one more. So if you don't have the strength to extend your arms, it's fine. Just keep your arms bent as you're going back, as you're walking your hands down the stick here. Okay? So, hips extended, glutes tight. Walk your hands down. Remember to keep those glutes tight. And walk your hands back up slowly. And relax. Okay, so now we're going to use the two 6-foot sticks here, so 2 long sticks. Okay. We're going to get into a double hang, but we're going to add in some rotations here. Okay, so I'm going to start with my right foot forward, left foot back. Now, when my right leg is straight, I actually want the sticks to be in line with the knee of the right leg. So I turn to the side here. The sticks are in line with my right knee, right as my right knee is extended. So we're going to do here. Gonna be in this position, create a pretty big split or whatever's most comfortable for you. Grab up at the top of the sticks, okay? What we're going to do from here, keeping my left hip facing forward, I'm going to drop my left hip down or left knee down towards the floor. I'm going to get a hang here, okay? Make sure you breathe. Now I'm going to come out. Now you're going to get a big stretch on that left hip flexor here. That's kind of what we're going for. Now we're going to add in some rotations here, okay? So I'm going to drop that left knee down towards the floor. Pull my shoulder blades down towards my hips. So drive the sticks to the floor, 20%. Now we're going to start to rotate towards the front leg, so to the right. Rotate to the left. Rotate to the right. Rotate to the left. To the right. And left. At the center. And come out. Now we're going to switch sides. Okay. So, make sure you're grabbing the top of the sticks here. Okay. I'm going to drop that right knee down. Get a hang. Good, breathe. And come out. Good. Now we're going to get to that again. Okay, again, we're going to add in those rotations. Here, drop that right knee down. Push your sticks to the floor. Rotate to the left. Right. Keep your hips facing forward. Left. Right. One more time. Left. And right. Back to center. And come up. Good. Okay. Now we're going to do, we're going to take a wide stance. Okay, kind of like we were in position before. So we're actually going to stretch out the hamstrings and adductors here. Okay. So I want to take both sticks, both ends of the sticks, bottoms of the sticks, and I want to angle them out pretty far in front here. Okay. And so what I want to do, I'm going to have my hands on the sticks. Notice my feet are slightly angled out. Okay, I want to kind of keep that angle a bit. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to drive my hips back, guiding my hands down the stick, trying to reach the bottom. And I want to sit my hips back. Try to keep your back neutral. Okay, keep your spine neutral. Don't let your back round over. If you've rounded over, you've gone too far. You're gonna have a slight bend in the knees here, okay? I'm gonna come back up. Get to that top position. We're gonna do that again. Try to get a little bit further down the sticks here. Drive those sticks, hips back, hinge. Come back up slowly. Good, and relax. We're gonna wiggle our feet back in. Okay, now, fly stretch. We're actually gonna go back down into that 90-90 position. Okay, so we're gonna go into a pigeon position, to be more specific. So, we're gonna have our left hip forward, okay? So, left hip is gonna be forward like so. Now with the right hip, you wanna try to trail that right hip behind you as much as you possibly can here, okay? So if you get up to this position, that's good, okay? If you can't, that's fine. You can keep this left hip on the ground, okay? But what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna try to be up. We're gonna have the stick at 12 o'clock. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna try to be up tall, have my hands aligned with my chest, and then I'm gonna hinge forward on that hip. Get a really big glute stretch. I stretch on the external part of the hip. Then come back up. Bring that stick in. We're gonna extend the hands out, hinge forward. Come back up. And ease off. Good. And now we're going to switch sides. Okay. Position's still going to be the same. Okay. If you're gonna achieve it, again, if there's any pain here, just reduce your range of motion or go to a 90-90 position. You'll still get a really, really good stretch there. So we're going to bring this left hip behind. Sticks at 12 o'clock. Both hands stacked at chest height. I'm going to hinge, driving that stick forward. Make sure you breathe, deep breathing. Back up. Good. We're going to do one more here. Drive that stick forward and hinge. And 3, 2, 1, back up. Bring the stick in and ease out. And good. So that concludes today's class. Okay, so kind of went through quite a bit of spine stuff, a lot of hip drills, and so from today's class, again, just the main thing is make sure you try not to go into those ranges of pain, and try to avoid any uncomfortable positions. But thank you guys for all coming. We all appreciate your support here at Stick Mobility. Hope you guys have a wonderful workout with